want to ask y'all sincerely, do y'all think that masturbation is not a part of abstinence? I think that is probably your biggest discipline because almost everybody deals with masturbation.
Yeah, and again, I'm the anomaly. I was gonna say, I used to hear cats in high school used to talk about it, and they was like, what you about to do? I'm about to go home, jack off.
There's nothing like being blessed by the creator that created sex. He is blessing the bedroom. He's touching those orgasms. All those things that we love about sex, God created that. And when you align with the way that he wanted us to experience that,
it's a whole nother level.
Baby, mind blowing.
It's like you could pick the sin, but you can't pick the consequence.
Right.
Okay? That consequence don't always mean that
Pregnancy.
you're gonna get pregnant or anything.
Disease.
It could mean that, okay, once you get with your wife, now you gotta deal with all these things that's in your mind.
Right. It matters too for a woman to know that you cared about yourself, that you weren't just out here giving it to a Shanae, baby, boo boo, shoo shoo. Stop and know that you are worth the wait as well.
This is an Iwegbus production.
Period. Hello everyone, my name is TK.
And my name is Namdi.
And you are Pillow Talking with the Iwegbus. Episode 18.
Episode 18, what up?
Yes, we are super excited to be back. I pray that we never stop saying this, that this is another banger.
Yes,
I promise it is another banger. I'm super excited for today's episode. But before we get into that, baby, you want to tell them who we are and what we do?
Yeah, so here with Pillow Talking with the Iwegbus, we motivate the common couple to become extraordinary and singles to receive God's best in relationships. So listen, and if you looking for relationship tips, advice, whatever you got out of a relationship, whatever you want to do relationships better, you want to do it God's way, you're in the right place. #1 podcast for relationships. What up?
Period. Okay, y'all listen. So today we're doing something a little different. We are reacting to an interview, but more so you guys will actually be able to go through watching it with us as we're watching it. Not for the first time, but it's such a good interview. Like I could literally watch it a couple of times. It's a really good one. Speaking of the interview, it is from the YouTuber podcast Harley Initiated, and it was featuring Tim Ross and Jeremy Anderson, fire men of God. I didn't even know who the Harley Initiated was. I just knew when I saw Tim Ross, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be good. Then I saw Jeremy and I was like, okay, this is gonna be great actually. So obviously we cannot react to the entire interview. We will be here all day, and we honestly could have, like, we could have pulled out many topics from this, but we pulled out 3 that we thought were pretty important and kind of just go along with what we've been talking about. And the first subject that we will be responding to is I'm in a sexless marriage. Let's get into it.
So this was actually 2 days ago. A guy comes up to me in the gym. He says, yo, man, I'm so thankful y'all back on YouTube. Introduced himself to me. He was like, I love y'all show. It's helped me a lot. Great. And, I started asking about a situation where he lived at, what's his relationship status, that type of deal. And he explained that he's been married for a couple years. Now, just off the top of his mind, right, he starts to express this big issue he's been having. And he says, I really would like for y'all to talk more about sex as it relates to my marriage. Because he says, one thing I didn't expect is when my wife got pregnant, that from when she found out she was pregnant, we would not have sex for an entire year. And he says, he's like, yo, I'm 26 years old. He's like, I would have never expected that would actually be an issue. I'm gonna be dealing with at 26 years old. So where is the grace? Like, how does that, basically, how does a man handle that? And should a man even expect some periods for a woman to pretty much be going through something so affecting that she's not able to perform in the bedroom?
Yeah, so I'll say this. I think this is why we advocate so much for
26 is mad young. I can only imagine the irritation and the annoyance, especially for a man. Well, I just think all of us we're a little bit more intimately excited, ready to get it done the younger we are. So I'm just like, dang, that probably
26
really
is tough.
sucks.
No,
That's really, really tough.
celibacy before you get married, because there needs to be a certain level of discipline that you got to have, because you don't know what can come around the corner. Last time I was on with you guys, I told y'all how I went through a 9-month fast for my wife. A voluntary fast. God was just like, your wife's dealing with some health issues. She's battling depression, anxiety. She's just not in a good place. He was like, release her of that expectation. God was like, just make love to her heart, make love to her mind. Still take her on dates, still take her on trips, but just relieve her of what you need. You know what I'm saying? And God was like, I'm gonna feel your heart. And I was able to get through those 9 months, no porn, no side pieces, right? And I feel like those 9 months was symbolic to God birthing something new in our relationship. Now she ain't got no question if I love her. Now she ain't got no question if I'm with her just for her beauty or her body. She was like, when my body was failing, you showed up. You know what I'm saying? And so I would tell cats all the time, you gotta have those open and honest conversations. But as men, sometimes that's what we do. Sometimes we feel like as men, this is what I need. Yes, you do have needs, and our needs are valid. But at the same time, like if we are to be the head, if we are to be the leaders, let me tell you something, bro. If we on a boat right now and the ship is going down, out of everybody in here, the 2 ladies is the first one that's gonna get off to get rescued.
Just thinking about the 26-year-old, like I said, that has to be difficult for sure, especially for a man. But I mean, even a woman, the first thing that comes to my mind is wanting to ask, like, were you celibate before you got married? And it's something that I hear consistently from people that abstained or were celibate before they got married, a different level of self-control. So although I did not have a super promiscuous past, I also did not intentionally exercise celibacy, or I didn't intentionally abstain. Like if I was abstaining, it was just because I didn't have a boyfriend at the time or whatnot. I definitely can say that I went into our marriage with this expectation, like you get married, you have sex all the time, you know, 2-3 times a day.
Sure.
We gonna do, and mind you, y'all, 22 is when I got married. So I am super young. You can, if you older and you watching, remember how you were when you were 22. You know, you ready to,
like a jackrabbit.
Yeah, you ready to
go
get it popping all the time. But Jeremy says something that I feel like we say all the time, but something that's so important, which is getting that discipline before you get married. So a lot of times people feel like if they're being intimate before they get married, like, does this really matter if we're being intimate before? Like, if I don't get pregnant, if I don't catch no disease, like the Lord will forgive me. But what I say all the time is you are practicing marriage while you're dating. Yeah. You are unknowingly training your body how to either have sex all the time or not have sex. While you're dating, you're preparing for marriage. And so I trained my body in a way that I had a boyfriend, that's what was going to happen. So I get married, that's what's going to happen. But what people fail to put in this equation, babe, is real life.
Real talk.
The thing about when you get married is that isn't the same as dating. When you're dating, for the most part, you don't have kids together. You don't have bills together. Real stuff doesn't happen. When I got with you, we had 2 other women that, you know, mother of the children. Yeah. We had real bills. I was pregnant the first time we got intimate. We had dealt with, you know, the church hurt, kind of neglecting us when we got pregnant. We dealt with so much. I mean, shoot, it would have made sense if we didn't do anything. Yeah. But we don't add those things in. Like, people don't have those conversations enough. Listen, y'all, real life happens. Y'all will not be getting it in all the time because that is not real life. Sicknesses happen. Lord forbid a parent dies. Something happens. You're not going to be horny all the time. And if you don't train yourself prior, seriously, if you don't train,
it's hard for people to believe that.
It is. It was hard for me to believe that. Yeah. Like, you know, when you were like, because again, I was younger, so my sex drive was higher than Namdi's. Yeah. And if money wasn't right, Namdi like, I ain't trying to, baby, what you trying to get it in all day? I'm trying to figure out this work.
Younger or not, I think that I'm an anomaly. Don't matter. Like, most guys still at my age at that time will be still ready to go all the time, wanting to do that. I'm just an anomaly. You got some people, you'll meet a couple or you'll meet somebody that's just like, yeah, that's not like the usual. I never masturbated. Okay. Like, most men gonna be like, he's lying. They would literally think that I'm lying. I'm like, no, that wasn't my struggle. That ain't something I ever sat there and was like, man, I should pull up some corn. Replace the word. We're okay. We do it because
I don't know if we have to say that, but I watch so much YouTube that says
that probably word. So. But what I'm doing is plain and safe. I didn't ever think of doing those type of things. Yeah. And I'm an anomaly. So I can't say that because most guys probably be like, you crazy. At 30 years old, whatever, I was always ready to get it. Yeah, no matter what. Bills past due, everything messed up. We about to get kicked out, eviction notice on the... Like, I'm ready to get it. Hey, this wasn't that guy. I had other things in my head. Situations with my kids and all that. We had a lot of things going on. We had a lot
of things going on in the beginning of our marriage. And I wouldn't say we weren't doing what we needed to do.
Oh, no, we was getting it. Just
I'm saying, though.
Maybe not every single day. Maybe like 4 times out the week. Maybe 3.
I think but what I am trying to express is that real life happens. Yeah. And even though in the beginning, I was more so the one that was more, had a higher sex drive. There's been seasons that Namdi's had the higher sex drive. And I'm like, Jesus, give me a break. Give me a moment. Seasons, give me a second. But going back to the conversation of celibacy and holding yourself and waiting, I know that's something that you did do. And so I also think that's why you probably struggled less in our marriage when it came to intimacy, where I was like, what's wrong? Why we not every day? Like, it's something. This is not normal. And you're kind of like, babe, we're good. And I feel like that probably played a part in your celibacy. So, well, let me ask you: do you feel like because you practiced celibacy before we got married that it disciplined you for marriage with me and intimacy with me.
Yeah. So just to make it clear, it was season that I stayed in.
Well, baby, they know you got 2 kids.
Yeah, right. But I want them to know, like, how was he celibate? But I just want to kind of make it clear. So there was a season when I got saved, like 2012 or whatever. I got saved, and I was just like, you know what, Lord, everything that I'm hearing from my pastor and everything that's said in the word, I'm really gonna test these things. I'm gonna test tithing. I'm gonna test really not fornicating, all those things. And I did that. I did that for that time, that period of time. My longest period of time was a year. Right at about a year when that happened. And man, I just had some just supernatural things just happen in my life. My connection with the Lord was just way stronger, and I could feel like I could hear him. Worship was on like 1,000. I mean, I was serving in the praise team at that time, man. And man, it was just something I can't even explain to you. But even when I did eventually fall, I had periods of like 4 to 6 months or so I would go without falling again or whatever. It kind of created this muscle of restraint. Like I knew how to get by without having to mess with someone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, in this time, I'm just with the Lord, and I'm going to get stronger in this, and I'm going to resist it. I'm just going to go work out. I'm going to go to the gym or whatever I need to do, play a video game, watch a series or something to just keep my mind. I was serving. I was always staying on something. So yeah, once we got to the point to where I got married, it was not hard to just say, okay, for some reason, me and you are at it, to be like, okay, you ain't gonna give it. Okay, cool. Because what's the problem
And you also didn't masturbate.
Yeah, I didn't masturbate either.
So that's a huge part of this.
Yeah, that's a very big
because
part.
even when people don't have sex, they always have themselves that,
Yeah.
that they can do.
Yeah.
And so I think that is probably your biggest discipline.
Sure.
Because almost everybody deals with masturbation.
Yeah. And again, I'm the anomaly.
I was gonna say,
I used to hear cats in high school used to talk about it.
Yeah.
And they was joking, but they was serious.
Yeah.
And I was like,
beat their meat.
yeah, it was like, yeah, what you about to do? I'm about to go home, jack off. Like they used to be, like it used to be cats that was just class clowns that used to be talking like that, right? And I'm like, are they really serious?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. You probably lost your point, but I just had to say that. I feel like that's probably probably huge. And I wanted to say this because a lot of us aren't intimate with people, but we don't stop touching that vibrator. We don't stop playing with ourselves. You're still missing out on that discipline because people can think like, oh, well, I was celibate. You play with yourself the whole time. And so when you get married, you think that's about to stop?
Come on,
when she's not giving it up to you, you gonna go to. You know how many women have told me their husbands have been jacking off in the restroom while they were in the shower?
Yeah.
Like that happens in marriage. So I just want to put that out there because I feel like masturbation is a conversation that isn't talked about enough too. Because people be lying, number one. I just want to put this out here.
Go ahead, babe. Hey, listen. She beating down your block, knocking pictures off the wall. Hey, it is what it is.
I just want to say this. Like, I want to ask y'all sincerely, do y'all think that masturbation is not a part of abstinence? Like,
please, put it in the comments.
I really want to know that. Like, do you feel like abstinence is only not having intercourse with someone? Because people be getting head, people be having oral, people be playing with their booty.
People make their own little Build-A-Bear abstinence. Yes. Like, I'm gonna take this and
it's like
we gonna leave this.
Having orgasms all the way up until marriage, and y'all say that y'all celibate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's wild.
The only reason why I don't agree with it is because you have not, like, you are still getting the benefit of sex, which is an orgasm. Yeah. You're still able to be sexually pleased. You're just not actually having them go into one another. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I want to ask y'all that. Like, do y'all think that is a part, like, you should withhold from that? So I was going to say, back to your point, that's probably your biggest, like, your strongest trait is that you did not struggle with that. So you've never had an escape unless you were with a woman.
Yeah, that's why, unfortunately, too, days when I was getting it in, I was usually doing that too often. Yeah. Like, where most guys could be like, man, why don't you just be with yourself? Well, if I'm by myself, then I ain't doing nothing. Yeah. Like, where you got yourself. Right. You go masturbate. Right. I'm not. Right. So I got to find something to do something with. You feel me? Yeah. So back to the point, like, I was able to exercise that restraint. And the reason being that I think that it's so important is because you got to get ready for when God really does send you your blessing. Like, you got to get ready for when he sends you your queen or your king. You just never know. Like he said, what is around the corner when that situation comes. So I'm glad I had that there.
The discipline.
Yeah, the discipline.
Yeah.
Of doing that. I kind of put this analogy to sports in a way. You probably played some type of sports, or you could been in drama, or you've been on a praise team like we were. And they always tell you, hey, let's do a run through like it was the real thing. You do the practice or you run the play the way that you're going to do it in the actual game. So when the game comes, it's second nature. That's how you want it to be with your body too. Because when the big game came and you tripping, where most cats gonna be like, oh, okay, well, shoot, I could have hit up old girl that I seen at the gym. I could have tried to holler at, man, let me go to the gym and I'll run into something that I need to. If you don't want to please me, if you haven't got to that level of self-control, then you're not gonna be ready when you get your big gift, which is your wife, which is your husband, or it's going to be seriously hard as heck to do that. You're going to either go cheat or you're going to end up, like you said, masturbate. Like, I'm not trying to crown myself like I've done this oh so great things. I have many other issues, but self-restraint when it came down to me and you tripping out, let's say it was a week that you didn't give me none or whatever the case, and it's very rare that you ever didn't, especially in the beginning. We usually was good, but like, no, we would get into it, or you felt like, especially if I didn't want to get it in or something, I just had a lot weighing on my brain, a lot of stress, whatever the case may be, and I just really didn't want to. You may feel like, okay, now I need to take my power back. So now I ain't doing it when you ready or whatever. And so now I done went a week or maybe two without. Well, my mindset wasn't on that. I was going and instead I did, what did I do in my single life? I went and got close with the Lord. And when I got to my married life, I went and got close with the Lord. I said, okay, she ain't doing this, that, and the other, Lord. You see what's going on. Please talk to her. Please let her know this ain't right. Please know when I did it, it wasn't to take it. It's just that we got a lot of stuff going on, man. Real life happens. Like he said, it could be something that, unfortunately, I pray this doesn't happen with you, but it could be some type of disease, or it could be losing a loved one. Think about, when I just lost my mom, and like, don't get it wrong, through some of those times you still could be getting it in, but like, my mind isn't always thinking about that. And I used to hear my pastor say, please believe sexing ain't gonna pay the bills. Please believe all of that y'all doing, when y'all get married, all of that is gonna be out the way and y'all gonna have to deal with real life. I'm so glad that I heard that, and I was alarmed by that, because I was ready for when those things actually did happen.
And I just want to say that sex is the cherry on top.
Yes.
It's not the reason why you get married. It's not the goal of getting married. And that's another thing we got to stop doing is, as Christians, getting married so we can get out of sin. Because you are in it.
Man.
I mean, baby,
Ooh,
what?
say that again.
The enemy will fool you. We've even had conversations like, you remember when we were in sin, we were doing this, and that, and now we got an issue with actually getting it done. The enemy is going to play with y'all too. The enemy will deceive you as if you had better sex when you were single. See, when I was out here, I was like, no, that's what the enemy does.
One of the things that you said was, a lot of people think, oh, I could just do this. I mean, I'm not getting nobody pregnant. The Lord's still gonna forgive me and all of that. And one of the biggest things that one of my mentors says is, like, you could pick the sin, but you can't pick the consequence.
Right.
Okay. That consequence don't always mean that
Pregnancy.
you're gonna get pregnant or anything.
Disease.
It could mean that, okay, once you get with your wife, now you got to deal with all these things that's in your mind that you have to deal with from dealing with so many daggone women or men before.
There's people that cannot stand up if they don't watch porn, or, like there's people that literally cannot reach something if they don't watch something. I talk about masturbation quite a bit, and I talk about how it trains your body on how to have an orgasm. So when you get with your spouse, it never happens, and you got to go off and go do your thing and I've talked to wives that have gotten done being intimate with their husband, went in the car and did themselves to arrive. That is a real consequence. That's terrible.
Yes.
Like, that's a real consequence that people are not talking about. Christians are not talking about that they still have to masturbate within marriage because you trained yourself. You masturbated and sometimes like from 12 all the way up. Like you did that your whole life. And so we want to save y'all from the lie of the enemy that is not a big deal. It is. That's that.
Don't mess up your big day playing out there in the playground with everybody.
Exactly.
Like, don't mess that up, man. You got way more coming up for you, man. Train yourself now. And I promise you the blessing is going to be greater, man, if you just practice some restraint right now. What do y'all think about a sexless marriage, those periods of time, man? Or do you believe that practicing restraint right now may help you along further into your marriage. Some married people out there, y'all maybe can help us out. Y'all been through some stuff.
Yeah.
Let us know. I mean, you don't have to get too graphic. Let us know down in the comments below. What's good, family? We want to pause for a quick moment. Hope you're getting tremendous value from this video, but we want to share with you. It shows that about 49% of you who are watching right now are not subscribed.
49%. Listen, y'all, it's free to subscribe. It's free to hit the notification bells. And if you keep coming back, you keep watching, that means you like the vibe. So join the family, click that notification bell, click the subscribe button. We would so totally appreciate
Yes,
it.
we will. Back to the show, man.
Moving on, listen, this segment is basically about new booty being better than old booty.
Yeah.
But they use a very different terminology for this. So let's get into it.
Like it's the state, it's the saying that rolls around in the community, the savage community. Ain't no pussy like new.
Yeah,
Right?
that's TK.
That's what they say, right?
Right.
And see, I've been there. I understand.
for sure.
Because
Bro, I wrote the book.
I'm gonna be
What are you
honest.
talking about? Trust me.
Yeah, I see the play in you.
Yeah,
I see
so
it.
we is not on that like, oh, they should not. No, I get it.
But see, so this is what the brothers this is what the brothers are struggling with. The brothers understand that every time they get with this new woman, there's this unique level of excitement, anticipation, and how do you somehow figure out how to have that 30, 40 years later with the same woman? How am I just as excited as when I looked at the Instagram for the first time and saw that
You're right.
and was like, I can't wait to
but-
get to this. So like that's what the real struggle is.
I understand, but let's slow down. Okay, I'll go back to FM DJ voice, and I'm gonna try to appeal. What did you call the community? The savage community?
The savage community.
Yeah.
Dear Savage, which one's my camera? This one?
This one.
That one.
This one. Dear Savage community. Ain't no pussy like new pussy. But the moment you
Look at Jeremy.
Wait. So when we first saw this,
Jeremy's sitting
was-
there like, okay, we going there?
I feel like Jeremy's thoughts were like, oh, I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you would say that. I
Oh,
thought you were-
okay. Yeah, okay. I don't know how to take this. Okay,
Yeah,
Lord.
you see him bite his lip like,
Yeah.
oh, alrighty. Like,
Yeah.
but keep it
Coulda
straight.
warned me,
He
bro.
was so ready for him to like drop something deep, and he's like, oh, that's what you're gonna say.
That's wild.
so new pussy is gonna always turn into old pussy. Which means you're gonna be on the hunt for new pussy for the rest of your life. You are lazy and you're not thinking clearly. Choose the pussy attached to the person that you can live exclusively with for the rest of your life, because your logic is flawed. All new pussy turns into old pussy. So when does it end? When your money dries up? When your libido dries up? Because here's what's going to happen. You going to bone your way into irrelevancy. Because there will be a day you grow up and you wake up and new pussy don't want you no more. When you could have had, at this point, some old pussy.
And that old pussy is gold pussy. I ain't gonna lie.
Shit, I'm gonna go ahead and join you, man.
Yeah, so that's what we misread because we thought he was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It looked like, I think he was shocked though. I do
think
think
he
he was
was.
shocked. I think he was surprised that he said the word. But then when he said it, we were like, okay, so speaking of this word, babe, is this something you will say in public?
Nah. So first off, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna say it even in private, except for some other things. But
Like,
we
yeah,
get
you do.
a little different there. But yeah, y'all use y'all imagination there. But no, I'm not about to do that. That's
all.
That's different. I feel
like that's a heavy
Tim Ross,
word.
still my guy. I wouldn't say it needed to be done to relate, but hey,
Yeah,
that's how
It's a
he
different-
does. He ain't going to hell for it or nothing like that. But I think that as a pastor, sometimes you held at a higher standard. So some people gonna look at that as like, you don't ever want to be a distraction to the gospel, like whatever it may be, whether
Yeah.
it be your clothing, like you're not being immodest for women, or just how we speak. You don't want to be a distraction because, I mean, I guess them brothers can take it as cool. Okay, cool. He's someone I can relate with. No, they're not telling you, but they might like, oh man, if he speak like that, he might be like this in private doing something else,
Yeah.
And I don't think that of Tim Ross at all. But yeah, I would.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always kind of torn between this type of stuff. That's probably how they really talk too. At the same time, so you don't want to be fake,
Yeah.
which is a turnoff to the world. But I also understand the mantle, and that if it, I'm pretty sure there's a scripture that we can find. If we do, I'm gonna put it.
Plenty of them.
I'm gonna put it. Well, I'm talking about even like if it's not. I think it's called a weight or something like that. But it might not even be a sin. But if it is distracting, or if it looks a certain way, like don't do it. And so there's certain things that me and Namdi might say or do. I mean, we're not out here bad, y'all, but
we don't.
It's still some things that y'all just won't see. It's still some things that y'all just won't know about me, or y'all won't know about Namdi. Not because it's not a sin, but we don't want to cause confusion.
Yeah.
And we also, if you haven't noticed, we don't talk about certain things too because it's not a sin, but some people can indulge too much or do too much. And so something like this, like we heard a pastor say the P word.
Oh, a couple years ago.
Yeah, we heard him say it
like,
while he was doing
that was
it a
wild.
funeral? Or no, he was just talking.
Yeah, he was just talking to a
and we were just
crowd.
like, oh God. I think some words like the F word, the B word, like some words is like, whoa. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, it says, to each his own, but Ephesians 4:29, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear.
I mean, this fits the occasion.
Yeah, it does a little bit. Ephesians 5:4, let there be no filthiness, nor foolish talk, nor corrupt joking, which are out of place, but instead let there be thanksgiving. And it's so many other verses when it comes to that.
That's crazy.
So,
I feel like that word is just, that word is crazy.
yeah.
Like we not saying that unless we, Yeah. All right.
You already know.
Let me tell
Carry
you
on.
something. I eat my leftovers. I eat my leftovers.
And I just have another thing to say too. Do y'all think something's wrong with like sex jokes as Christians?
I'm not mad about like him saying that. Like
Yeah.
I eat my leftovers.
Yeah.
It's descriptive. You could do the like what
Right.
we was just talking about. Hey, we say it,
Right.
but we say it in certain
A certain
places,
context,
and so people can kind of make grown
Yeah.
people do grown things, and so they know
Right.
where that word's gonna be used. So yeah, he said I eat my leftovers, but he not telling you what exactly he eating. But as a
Well,
grown
I'm saying
person,
it's
so
joking though. Like, do you
yeah,
think?
it
I
can
just-
be a little. It could be a little far. And the only problem is that nowadays, and this may be a different talk, is that we're just. I feel like sometimes we're bending just a little bit too much for the culture.
Yeah.
This is where we.
Is
we
it
got
for the
some-
culture or is that just who we are?
It may be also who people are, but I think
Exactly.
that some of it. I just think people be trying to relate because they're trying to reel people in to the
Yeah,
gospel. But
maybe.
a lot of times, because we're not standing out and we're not being different.
What's the point of them coming
Yeah,
over
it's
here?
like
We do the same thing.
We're doing the
We
same
talk the same
daggone
way.
thing. You
Yeah.
just call your God Jesus, and I call mine a crystal,
Right.
like
Yeah.
or the ancestors or the
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I
I
just think we need to set ourselves apart just a little bit more. But yeah, I mean you're a veteran in the game like he has.
Yeah.
Brought many souls to the kingdom, doing big things. Man, it's gonna be very hard unless one of his mentors told him otherwise.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very hard for guys like that not to kind of bend the lines. It's like, man, they up here on the pedestal. I mean,
Yeah.
he's been under fire here recently for some of the analogies that he used when he was preaching. So yeah.
And nutritious.
Oh, for sure.
When you drop that course on how to make the old gold.
I just be thinking.
Yeah.
I just be trying to think.
Yeah.
Ain't no, like, again, I'm a wordsmith and I'm a literalist. So when you say ain't no pussy like new pussy, okay, but when does it get old?
Right.
A new pair of shoes is new to the first time you put them on. Then they ain't new. You can't take them back. You can't put them back in the box and put them back and take them back to StockX. You wore them. So after that first time or second time or third time, it ain't new no more. So now you're training your body to only arise for strangers, which means you never want to be settled. You never want to be. Oh, now thank you, Holy Spirit. You don't even want to be known. And the Savage community is hiding. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Let me slow down some more. You are running from yourself. And you're disguising it as new pussy is the best pussy. When the truth is, you don't want to stick around long enough to be known because you're afraid you're going to be rejected.
This is some heavy stuff.
Definitely.
Jeremy and Tim Ross are ministering. Yes. And we highly advise y'all to watch the full thing as well, because they ended up praying for them at the end. But Jeremy and Tim Ross ministered to these men.
Oh yeah, he really caught the dude. I could see it towards the end.
I know.
I'm like okay.
He said it.
We might have just got some new ones.
He made a comment like, y'all don't make this look too bad. I'm like, oh yes. Yay. Like,
you know what I'm saying?
I love that for them. But this whole part is talking about men, and I feel like this is probably more of a man thing than a woman thing. Like, we ain't really looking for no new sticks around.
Nowadays they
no, that's true. Nowadays
they trying to.
It is different, but obviously we're gonna always talk about our testimony. It was probably year 4 and after. I feel like in our marriage, we have been mind blown by the new heights that we have been able to reach together intimately. And one of the things that, as I was watching this, that I thought about was when people are talking about, specifically men are talking about new booty is, better than old. Ain't nothing like new booty. Maybe for men. But I know I'm going to speak from a woman's perspective. Women are not having orgasms. Women are not actually being satisfied fully with one night stands, with sneaky links, with hit it every once in a while, because the beauty of being married, the beauty of being under a covenant is actually having the favor of the Lord that will bless the bedroom. Yes. But let's not even talk spiritual yet. Why would you want to continuously get new people that are just performing for each other when you can have someone that is trained, literally trained to know how to make you do what you want to do? I want to debunk this thing that sex is better when you're dating. We are here to let you know, not even close. That was child's play. Really? You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. That was child's play before we got married. Like, being able to literally feel the anointing and the Holy Spirit in our bedroom, knowing that He literally thank you, Father, for blessing this moment. There's nothing like being blessed by the creator that created sex. He is blessing the bedroom. He's blessing the intimacy. He's touching those orgasms. All those things that we love about sex, God created that. And when you align with the way that He wanted us to experience that, baby, mind-blowing.
Whole nother level.
It's child's play when you think, oh, he's doing this and he hitting it from there, he knocking my wig off and he doing this and he doing that. Baby, that's nothing, because God not there. It's a different type of brag when you can say, God is in this bedroom with us. God approves of this intimate moment. God is pleased when I am having this moment with my man, and He approves of it. And so He puts favor on it. There are things that I have never experienced, never knew I can experience with you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's because of the covenant. That's because of the training. That's because of the commitment. That's because of the faithfulness. That's because you stick in it. But when you stick in that thing, and you building that foundation, and you're worshiping together, you're praying together, you're raising family together, you getting money together, you are breaking generational curses together, you're building and raising families together. Baby, the climax, there's nothing that compares when God has touched it.
It's funny that in everything else, we know that if you go long enough, like in school or so, afterwards you're going to get a degree, or you get a master's, or you get a doctorate. Stick in there with your business through the hard times, through the tough times. And then you may look up now 4 or 5 years later and you've grown a business that you don't even got to be there for. It just creates cash flow. We go for working out. I always use that analogy, working out, and we stick in there, we consistent with it. And now we got the fruits of looking right, feeling right, having more energy, all those different things. But we don't believe that when it comes to our sexuality. Like, we don't believe that when it comes to our relationships, man. And it's the same thing. Anything that's worth it is going to take a little bit more work. It's going to take some commitment. Yeah. And the same thing with your body, man. Let me tell you, as somebody who went from one girl to the next girl, and man, we do this thing. He's right in a sense of ain't no booty like new booty. Men, we have a thing, babe, about the chase and the catch. Right. Like, it's just the excitement of it. It's like going from the chick you saw,
it's mystery,
to that mystery. Like I told you, I said, when I saw you, I was like, it was something about you. I was like, man. And I'll tell you now, I'm like, if somebody looking at you, it's maybe because it's the mystery of you. But going from any chick that you see to the chick that eventually is in your bed, and then you finally get it, it's like, pow. Right. Everything's amazing. Yeah. But once you've been doing it for so many times,
like you said,
it becomes a norm. It
And
becomes a
gets old.
norm. Yeah, it's not. It's like, okay, I've been here. And so what happens with our minds is, like he said, you train your body. Now you're looking for the next thing. So this
Right.
is why you could be like, people.
When does that stop?
When does that stop?
Like with the 60?
And it's always a new one running up.
Yeah.
That's why y'all see, they go, how did somebody cheat on Halle Berry? How did somebody cheat on
Right.
Beyonce? How did somebody
Right.
cheat on whatever,
Mystery.
Rihanna and all these other people? How did they do this? These are women. These are just real people.
Yeah.
And once so-and-so
They get
did it. It's not Beyonce, the one that you saw on the video no more. It went from Beyonce, the chick that was sitting in my whip,
No
to the one
makeup.
that's now in my bed. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, so now he knows her. He's
Yeah.
familiar with her. He don't see her the way you see her. So that's the same, and that's what we do when we train it. So why don't, like he said, you find the booty that you want to be with for the rest of your life?
Yeah.
And I'm not telling you to take a tester of that booty either.
Mm.
Okay? When the Holy Spirit jumps in there with you in that bedroom, what we've done in our marriage beats anything that we had did previously when we were in sin.
Absolutely.
Way better. Plus, your conscience is clear. Like,
Right,
oh man,
right.
I
You
didn't
can lay there and
commit,
stay
I didn't
there.
commit sin here
Yeah.
or whatever, man. Like, I'm telling you, it's bigger. So it's just that euphoric thing. So
Yeah.
yes, he's telling the truth. Yes, that catch. But after you catch, you look for a new catch, and
Right.
you keep coming for over and over and over. You end up old man. Now your body don't work the same.
You die alone.
Yeah, listen. I've seen this.
Fast forward.
I'm not gonna tell,
The
but
end
I've
of this
seen
story
this.
is dying alone.
You die alone. So you might get to the
Point
point you
blank.
need somebody to wipe you. Thing is that people play with time we just got forever. You believe that you're gonna live tomorrow because you're here right now today. But we never know when our time is up. Think about Kobe when he got on that helicopter. He didn't think what was coming next. Like, they sitting there just going to basketball games, basketball camp. They didn't think what's coming next. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the best of your days. I'm especially talking to somebody right now who's in your 20s, man. Don't waste your 20s out here getting it, going to all these different events. Oh, we kicking it now. We going over to this event out here. We going out of town. We going on these cruises. And I'm about to smash this and that. Man, you'll look up, man, and you wasted some of your best performances on something that was so temporary, man. To be honest with you,
Then
and
get
she's
with your
performing
wife.
too because you thought, oh man, I put it down because she was screaming and doing this. She ain't did nothing. You don't want to end up being that person who wasted their time because you don't know how
Yeah.
much you got. That's the most valuable thing you got. No, not money, but time.
Something really quick that is not talked about often enough is, like, men, I want y'all to value your bodies as it is taught for us to value ours. It is such a strong conversation for women to wait, for women to not be out here bad, for women to have as low as a body count as possible, or a virgin if possible. That is the conversation. But it's not enough conversation saying, but we want that for y'all too. We want y'all to know I'm not just about to be spilling my seed everywhere. I'm not just about to be letting every woman, like, think of your body as a prize too. The woman's body is not the only one that is a prize. A male's temple, you have a temple too. The Bible does not talk
Don't let
about
people-
honoring the woman's temple. It's for all of us. So men, I want y'all to get to a higher level of consciousness and awareness and respect for yourselves. It matters too for a woman to know that you cared about your seed, that you cared about yourself, that you weren't just out here giving it to Shanae, baby, boo boo, shoo shoo. Like, stop and know that you are worth the wait as well. Know that you are worth withholding as well. Know that you worth something too. Your body worth something too. That thing precious too. Just like ours is precious, yours is precious too, man of God. So I just felt like that is a conversation that needs to be had as well. And that's it.
So, hey man, what do y'all think about this situation? Do y'all agree like ain't no booty like new booty? I want to know, what is your perspective on the situation? Let us
Yes.
know in the comments below.
Moving on, it is talking about sexual compatibility. They called it the endless debate. Let's check it out.
I feel like it's some brothers gonna struggle, but I don't know if brothers gotta struggle as much as they probably will struggle based on the selection, right? Because there was some incompatibility there. I don't want to say incompatibility, but some differences in their sex life. Now, we say let's be celibate, and we say don't let sex confuse our decision making. But how do we measure sexual compatibility to make sure we can have a little bit more synergy in that area, and we're not as surprised when on a honeymoon you trying to smash and she not feeling it? Not saying that was your situation, but just in general, how do we measure to make sure that if I got a high sex drive and this is somebody I want, I make sure that that's something that I also select, because I think that would probably make the most sense for a man to look for that in his woman if that's important to him. Would you say so?
Absolutely. And I think it goes to having a conversation. Let me tell you something, bro. If I could start over, my marriage would be on a whole nother level. The things I learned in year 10, 11, now 13, if I'd have known that going in, I would have a different frame of reference because of what I've gone through and experienced. So I think it really boils down to a conversation. So for those of y'all that's like, man, all right, I'm gonna try to stop smashing, or I'm gonna go into it, and because you're wondering, how can you really be celibate? All right, you didn't let him smash or her smash, and then y'all get married and realize you're not compatible. I don't even think there's even a thing when it comes to someone being uncompatible if your hearts are there.
May I? I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
Because I think this is an important thing to address. But I want to ask a question that you can answer based on what you said was challenging in your marriage. Do you think that if you had not been sexually promiscuous prior to marrying your wife, that you still would have the big gap of incompatibility sexually?
No. It would completely, if I wasn't, and Bump being celibate, if I wasn't a hot boy, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm saying.
Like if I wasn't a hoe back in the day. Let's be clear. I hate it when cats make it seem like the women is hoes. Like, shoot, we be hoes too.
Absolutely
you know what I'm
correct.
saying?
Absolutely
If I wasn't like that, I would have felt like we were way more compatible. You know what I'm saying? And so we came from two different worlds, and when it came to that type of experience, she wasn't out there, but I was all the way out there.
So I'm grateful for your vulnerability to let us know that, because Juliet was a virgin when we got married. I was not. And I was a hoe.
Where the hoes at? You know what I'm saying? Right here.
And I was a good hoe.
Wait.
Successful.
You gotta break that down.
I want to know. Yeah, break down a good hoe.
I was the hoe women appreciated.
You was the gentle hoe.
I was a gentle hoe. I've always been an empath. I was a gentle.
You
hoe.
can be a noble. You can be a noble hoe.
I was a noble hoe, right? I've never heard those two words put together, and now I'll never be able to unpair them. So I was a noble hoe, but I was a hoe. So coming into the marriage, I trained my body for a certain type of sex with a certain type of cadence in a certain type of way. My wife had not been awakened sexually until we were married. Of course we were incompatible. So
How are y'all now, though?
we on the same page.
Come on.
When I tell you same page,
Yeah.
we're on the same page. So the question is valid, but the origin is very, very important. Where it's asked from. How do we know we're sexually compatible if we don't have any sex? Well, you shouldn't be having sex in the first place. That's number one. I know in this culture, y'all gonna be like, that's impossible, try again. I said what I said. You shouldn't be having I said what I said, and I meant it. You shouldn't be having sex in the first place. But if you have, please take that into consideration when you say you're incompatible. If you got 100 bodies and the other person has 2, hell yeah, you're incompatible. You've put your body through an American Ninja Warrior obstacle course. And the other person has been playing hopscotch. Of course you're incompatible.
And I only want women that's playing hopscotch.
Right, me too.
But have y'all been on the obstacle course though?
Yeah, we back-to-back champs.
That's what's so annoying to me. I'm sorry, I have to speak on that. That is so annoying that men can be out here so triflingly bad and then want a virgin. That's so crazy.
They think that she just sitting there waiting on this.
Just waiting while you out there discovering every type of woman: Spanish, white, black, brown, young, old, short, tall. And the woman that you gonna meet, like, wouldn't you think that the virgin wants another virgin?
Yeah.
Like it's women that I know that haven't even abstained. They're like, I want a man that got the same level. I ain't gonna be holding myself, and you just out here slinging every second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, y'all.
And that's probably
annoying.
why most men are talking about how their wife don't give it up enough. Most of them seek after the woman who haven't really been doing it that much, and they had already had a past. And
It's not gonna match.
And just like Jeremy said, now it's taking them up till, year 9, 10, whatever, to really get to that point. It took them years. A lot of times people doing so much in their single life, they pretty much abort what their honeymoon stage could be like. I'm talking about when you doing so much and you may end up getting married to your chick, but man, y'all done did so much while y'all was in y'all single life together and engaged and stuff. You thinking that it's gonna be on that same level? Well, no, I mean, what else is there left to do?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's just a tough one right there, man.
I was gonna say, men, and y'all can also help the culture when it comes to marriage. Like, y'all can help us in that.
Yeah.
Because men are getting married because they feel like girls are hoes now. Like, y'all feel like we're out here bad. They not smashing themselves. They got to be a man that they doing it with. And so if we can have more men raise the standard for themselves to not be out here bad, women, we will be getting married. Like, people will be getting married more because we both have a standard for ourselves. And this is what we talked about in the last video. Know that y'all are a prize too. Like, don't just be like, man, I'm out. I mean, you see that he joked like, man, I can do this and do that, but I want somebody that's a virgin. That's unrealistic, and it's actually highly unfair for that woman. If you find a virgin, leave her alone. Like,
Ain't gonna be
leave her alone, because you're gonna be expecting her to do
hang
what
from the chandeliers.
you're gonna
do all
expect
types
her
of crazy
on night
stuff.
one to do what stripper Trina did for you. Like, no, leave her alone, or raise the standard for yourself.
So, as you can see, a lot of times, babe, we can see where the incompatibility can be, because most men, we are looking for the girl who ain't had that many bodies, and that's why a lot of women lie to us about their body count. So even when I met you, I can't remember what your number, what you said your number was.
You told, we just talked about the body count. You was like, I remember the exact number. I'm like, no, you don't.
I can't remember necessarily, but whatever you said, I was like, lie. Right away in my right away in my head. So I'm like, okay, well, she can't be past this certain amount or whatever.
Oh yeah, I remember.
But the crazy thing is that most of us guys, I mean, I know one of my peeps who got over 100 bodies, and please believe he ain't trying to look for a chick that got over 100 too. Again, we automatically coming in with all these different baggages and issues, and once we get past all the one night stand and the messing around and all of that, and now we're committed and we actually have to stick it in there with each other, that's when we're left with who we really are. And that's what he was talking about on the segment where he's saying that you don't want them to really figure out the real you.
Yeah.
See, you don't stick around long enough for them to actually give you the constructive criticism on your sex game.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
To say, hey, partner, you could probably do this. Yeah, I know I was doing this all of our single days,
Yeah.
but if you would actually do it over this way and then do it this way,
Yeah.
then you would unlock the code
Yes.
to the biggest orgasm that I could ever have. When you had that talk with me, like, hey, listen, you're doing great, but you could do this, and that unlocks the code. Before I could even unlock that code, I had to deal with my hurt ego for so daggone long.
Really?
You know, yeah, had to, for a minute, for like, you know, it was a cool minute. But then I went and said, okay, let me do what she said. And I was like, oh, thank God. Okay, we're going to do that.
This is what this is like.
Yeah, this is what this is like, man.
Yeah.
The double standard that we have on the sex partners, men,
Well, he's
we
talking
got
about-
to stop it. One of the things that I think he left out of there was, number one, this is hard. I ain't going to say that you shouldn't kiss, but I advise you try not to. Obviously, that happened before it went down with us, right? When she gave me that tongue, I was like,
Oh my God, I'm cutting it out.
I'm like, ooh.
I'm cutting it out. I'm cutting
Why
it out.
Why would you cut it? Yeah, he said you could find out how they might get down by that. Oh yeah, that mug was power. I was like, fireworks going off. I'm like, oh okay.
Aw, see?
It was nice. Okay.
Really, babe?
Yeah, but that's the problem though. That's
Yeah,
why
that
when
is
you
the
were reading like Dr. Ari Vernon's 10 Rules of Dating, he would advise you not to, is because
Not to
most
kiss?
because most people gonna go. You
To
gonna
the
go. You
seconds,
go.
yeah.
Please, we
Yeah.
grown people.
We just
Flesh,
make
flesh
out.
then already connected like that. You don't think that 9 times out of 10 we ain't gonna go to the next drive? The first time we didn't go, but that second time, I think it was maybe the third time. I don't know. Oh yeah, it went on from there.
Yeah.
So again, I don't necessarily advise that, but also, how can you find out you're compatible? Actually, sit down and talk.
That's the problem. Y'all not. Thank you for bringing this up. When people tell me that they're dating, I'm like, that just means you're screwing.
For sure.
Y'all don't be knowing nothing about each other besides how to bend over backwards and have positions. Like, actually talk to them. You can have the sex talk. It ain't gotta be phone sex, but it can be like, hey, so do you like this, and that? And so do you want, how many times a week do you think that you will want to do it in a week? How many times? Okay, how many times during the day? Do you like morning sex? Do you like it late at night? Do you like talk?
Yeah.
Like, actually talk to the person. That's why we always say dating is like interviewing your spouse.
That's what it should be. If you're a believer, you shouldn't be just dating around. You should be courting. You should know these are my non-negotiables. This is what I'm looking for. It's just like somebody who's trying to hire someone to work in their company. If you go to a jobs website, they're going to tell you this is what this requires.
Right.
You know exactly in your head what's required. So when you sit down and you go to these dates, I ain't just take you here to blow your mind because now I'm trying to go get it on with you or nothing like that.
No,
I'm trying to
really trying to know.
I'm really trying to get to know you. So
Yeah.
you got so much time, if you would, to just sit there and actually talk to each other and figure out, oh, so hey, tell me, how do you feel about this? So what do you believe about the resurrection? Like, you could get into so many different talks.
Y'all
and
can ask all the questions
you want.
Do you like oral? Do you like giving oral? Do you like think like you can ask everything?
And that's why I say it don't take. I don't feel like it takes no more than maybe usually a year. If y'all really 6 months to a year,
Now,
if
the
y'all really
tools-
would been getting it in with actually sitting down and getting to know each other,
Yeah.
and all of that.
But for women, we have more of a scare by not being intimate before because we don't know if y'all got all the tools. That's the scary part.
But
What we
correct
gonna
me
ask
if I'm
you-
wrong, babe. And I mean, obviously, that ain't one of my issues. I've heard that most time it didn't matter too much of size or anything. That usually y'all can still work with it in some way.
You saying size don't matter?
Yeah, I heard that sometimes. I've heard some ways that y'all can still work with the thing because y'all said that I've heard on different podcasts and stuff that even when they got that size that they don't know what they doing with it.
Yes.
And then somebody who don't got it can know what they doing with it.
Yeah, but baby, not like baby
Not like-
shrimp.
Oh, okay.
No, we
Okay.
can't do nothing with that.
Right.
Yeah. So no, you.
I pray.
That's
that hope.
that-
So how they? So that
Exactly.
I'm bringing the question now your way then.
Yeah, so-
because you gotta let me. How do y'all?
So ladies, I mean that's. But the thing is, you gotta actually like believe them. I'm not the person. Gotta actually tell the truth. But you can. How many inches are we working with, sir?
So you think somebody and you think a man gonna
Tell the truth.
Hey, now one man about to tell the.
Dang.
Ain't too many that's gonna be is real like Charlemagne is on Breakfast Club about.
So that's what it.
so I'm
okay,
a-
so
I'm a
y'all
grower,
lie
not a
about
shower.
that. Y'all lie about inches, and women lie about body count.
Yeah, unfortunately, we never was in them situations
Yeah,
where we
I-
had to
it
be
just happened.
asked.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
happened.
unfortunately, so
But-
I never was in a position to lie.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I just want to say that like we actually have to deal with more of the fear of waiting before. Now, if they're a virgin, then maybe any size could do something, but if you've experienced life, you know that does matter.
So how do the women work around that?
But we have to ask, and y'all would have to be truthful. You have to
These
ask.
Negroes nowadays, I wouldn't trust none of them. They lie.
It's no way around it. I mean, I probably shouldn't have brought up that question because they were like, see, that's why we gotta do it.
I don't think y'all need to do it. We gonna give my wife another episode. She could get some time to think about how y'all could work around it because I didn't know because I had watched different intimacy.
Maybe because you're talking about, yes, size doesn't matter when it comes to a certain size and up. But if it's a certain size and below, like maybe women are not excited for 3 inches.
Average man is like about 5 and above, babe. So I don't think that most people got that. But
You think
then,
it's 5 is the average?
if you Google it right now, that's what it says.
Let me see.
Google it.
What is the
We gonna put this on. We gonna become the
size
uncut
of?
YouTube channel. Oh my father.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on.
5.16.
Yeah, I done listened to some podcasts and looked at some stuff where women said,
Baby,
nah,
but-
he good. Like, so most men,
3?
I don't think people maybe you've probably never heard a friend who told you that.
I
any man-
absolutely have heard of terrible conversations. Yes.
They wasn't telling the truth. I don't believe it. So you believe
So
that
you
they should ask the man and they
Yes.
gotta hope that he had. So here's the thing then. If you're gonna ask a man what size is, then y'all need to check his track record of how integral is he. Because
Oh, yeah.
if people know him to be a liar,
Right, he lying
Hey,
about
so
that.
do so and so has he? Okay, you got fired from here. What did you do? Like if you know him to not have integrity,
Don't believe me.
then you probably can't fully believe him on that situation.
Why would men lie about that? We can show up. A woman lying about a body count, y'all could never prove that.
Yeah.
A man lying about what he working with, I could
Yes,
easily
but
see that
he
it's
don't
not
see
that.
it until honeymoon night.
Dang.
Yeah,
Well, that's
so
the
that's
conversation
why
that
y'all-
y'all gotta be truthful.
Yeah, so-
y'all gotta be truthful about that. But let me just say this also.
There's probably other ways for her to figure out, like, why don't you wear some shorts, some sweats sometimes or something? Like when y'all about to go,
When you
y'all about to
come
go
over,
play
wear some
basketball or
sweats.
y'all go work out or something.
my God.
But then what again if he a grower, not a shower, like Charlemagne be
Oh,
saying?
my Jesus.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. What I will say is if you do end up getting someone that possibly
How we get on this?
I
But
know.
go ahead.
Oh my God. You want to pull out?
No, it's okay. Babe, pull out.
Anywho, okay, let's wrap this up.
All right, let's
Jesus.
wrap this
so,
up, y'all.
no, the moral of that story is even if he doesn't have, this is why y'all shouldn't be out here bad.
Man.
Because if you've been having 10-inch all your life and then you get married to a 5-inch, that you lost half. That's an L.
Yeah.
That is absolutely an L. And so
you
that's
keep running these streets
That's
till you
kind of the
can
moral
find
of this story. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully you don't get anything that's just terribly too unfulfilling. But I think there's ways to have that conversation as well, and without actually doing it. So yeah, y'all let us know.
Maybe she can ask him to just, hey, real quick, are you turned down? Like, show it just real quick.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Thank you for bringing that up.
And pull it back in.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with who I mentioned earlier, and she didn't feel that in the Christian community, like most women are at least seeing it. Everyone isn't going all the way, but they like, no, I need to see it though. I'm gonna see it. Like, show me what you're working with. Oh, okay, that's good.
Here's the thing, any daggone way. And let's just be 1,000. And I pray and hope, this ain't you. People ain't taking this. They ain't dealing virgins. A lot of times people hear, but they don't do. Unfortunately. I hope that ain't you. I hope you actually listen to what we're saying. And you save yourself the heartbreak, the soul ties, baby mama, baby daddy drama, all the other extra stuff that you may have to go through by up here fornicating. But most of y'all, unfortunately, y'all already passed that point. Or y'all still gonna do whatever the heck y'all want to do, because that's what I've learned about grown people. Because unfortunately, we've done some of that ourselves. I would say don't do it and just have them do a quick show. Okay. Put it away.
Okay.
Yeah. But he got to. I don't know. Maybe they got to do something like that.
Y'all let us know overall. They're saying that they feel like you cannot find out if you're sexually compatible with someone unless you have sex. We disagree. Yeah. We think there is plenty of conversations that can happen to know what do you like, what are you willing to do, and share fetishes. Like share every part of your sexuality with your potential spouse vocally to find out. Y'all let us know. Do y'all agree? Do y'all think that there's just a certain level that you can't
This should be a very interactive chat. I want to see comments. Let us know.
You might be afraid to talk about it.
No, y'all talk.
Y'all, we grown.
Let's get it on in the chat.
I need to put viewers' discretion on this video.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
We good.
Yeah, so y'all let us know. Drop it in the comments down below. Okay, y'all, that is it. My God.
Man, wasn't that a spicy episode,
This
man?
was a sex video, babe.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I guess it turned into a lot of that. But hey, listen, that's a lot of what people are doing or what they want. Men want more of it. Women want more of it. Whatever, they want more. They want better. Yeah, they want this in Christian marriages. And again, it can't be taboo. Go ahead.
I just want to say this. Listen to me when I say this. I deal with conviction about talking about this, and not a conviction that is holy, but from tradition and religion. Not talking about sex. Yeah. I was trained to not talk about it. And women are trained to not talk about it. So we get married. We don't have orgasms. We are not happy. Men are having sexless marriages. We don't know how to talk these things through. We lose our freakiness once we get married. Pray that you watch this and get your laughs, get your kiki, have all that. But like, know that there is a message in this, which is to have the conversations in good environments, in good context, because the people of the world are having conversations about sex. For sure. They are talking about how to do it, how to give head, how to do oral, how to hit it from this angle, from that angle. People are learning from porn. Why would we not have the conversation in the church, which when I say church, I mean this is church because we are the church. Why not? Because God created it, so God's people should be talking about it. Even with me, and I deal with it. Like I got an episode where that's a big part of what I'm talking about, the sex talk, because we do it wrong. We do it wrong. We do it so wrong. And then we get married and we're unhappy. Then we're divorced. And we think the second husband gonna do it better. And then we're divorced again. And then we don't believe in marriage no more. We don't believe in God anymore. And there's that's the goal of the enemy. So we're going to step in front of the deceiver and have these conversations. And so I just want to put that out there. If you are uncomfortable with this or you disagree with this, then don't talk about it and see what happens.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, we appreciate you rocking with us here on Pillow Talking with the Iwegbus. Please do us a favor, do all the YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, all of that, comment below. And also, if you're listening to our voices through a podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it. We pray and hope that you all be blessed. We will holla at you.
Bye, y'all.
Peace. Hey, thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you could do us a huge favor, please hit that like button and please subscribe.
Yes, and please do not forget to hit that notification bell. We need y'all to be locked in every single time we drop this fire content. Also, we need y'all to follow us on all social media platforms at the Iwegbus. And look, we will see y'all on the next video.